Today, a bird's eye view of Launceston is just a couple of clicks away onto Google Maps. And there it is. But it wasn't always this easy. Let's take a step back 100 years. A man of many talents, Herbert J. not only captured his images on the ground, but he was also a pioneer of civil aviation photography in the early 1920s. His most outstanding undertaking has to be this detailed 1922 aerial survey of Launceston commissioned by the City Council. The first of its kind in Australia, the technology used in its creation was cutting edge at the time. The photographic mosaic is inscribed by H.J. King, the photographer, and Captain F.G. Huxley, the aviator. A photo of the men, along with their plane, is mounted in a small vignette in the upper left-hand corner. There is a remarkable story behind the making of this masterpiece. Let's dive in and take a closer look. This photo was taken on the Invermay Flats near Stevenson's Bend in Launceston. Herb stands wearing a white dust coat, his hand lightly resting on his Indian motorcycle. The aviator, Captain Huxley, leans casually against the wing of the Farman aeroplane, one of 3 owned by the Melbourne company Shaw Ross. It remains unknown which plane was flown in the survey. Not much had changed when I arrived with my drone at the Invermay Flats in the summer of 2019. It was on this very plane behind me that Herb took his collection of aerial images of Launceston that are now stored in the Queen Victoria Museum and Art Gallery in the collections room. I was fortunate enough to be taken back there on a recent visit, and I was able to see the original montage or panoramas of the photos that Herb took from that very plane. Mounted in glass frames, it felt rather surreal to be standing there in front of them. Given the fine detail, it was obvious an incredible amount of work had gone into their production. It was a contract that Herb won against stiff competition. As an amateur photographer, he won the contract against professional submissions, which didn't go down quite too well in the professional photography circle. I have since discovered there were no other submissions. The Professional Photographers Association claimed that its members were not given an opportunity to review the conditions of the survey and submit an offer. Now, take your mind back, how difficult it must have been to get the camera gear up there, get the plane, to coordinate the flying pattern, to make sure that there was nothing missed, there was not too much overlapping, and then to come back and to process those images, to make sure they're all completely balanced, and to create that montage. So how did he do it? 3 flights were made over Launceston in the Farman Plain. The first and third were devoted to the suburbs, the second to the central area of the town. Being a smaller plane, the Farman was a perfect machine for the task. Captain Huxley piloted the plane expertly, fully understanding the requirements of the photographer, flying a predetermined path and maintaining the correct altitude. Herb's rangefinder camera was used to its full advantage, taking in a greater field of vision. With one image exposed every 15 seconds, each capturing 1 square mile, a total of 81 plates were exposed. Any other camera system would have required 200 pictures to achieve the same coverage. The camera was fitted with a special anti-vibration device designed by Herb. Incredible detail was captured on the plates, and when all were reduced to a scale of 16 inches to the mile, excellent results were obtained. Over 200 hours of work was required to stitch the scaled images together into the final mosaic. In Herb's words, this was by no means an ordinary job. But hats off to Herb. It is again another one of his amazing legacies. There are so many areas of photography that he has been involved in, it's difficult to even focus on just one. But the aerial research of Launceston has to be right up there with one of the most important contributions that Herb King has made to Tasmania.
So important that in March 1922, the Launceston Examiner newspaper published a copy of the survey in a special 4-page supplement in the Weekend Courier. The future of aviation technology was on a scale totally unimaginable by Herb and Huxley. It was too windy to fly my drone, so I walked over to give Herb a closer look. Over 100 years separated these two aircraft, along with 3 generations of aeronautical and photographic innovation. Needless to say, Herb was impressed.